All right, guys. So happy new trading week. It's basically a new week, and I wish you guys a profitable week, right? We're ready for the charts, and then we're ready to, trade better than last week. Okay, so these are our weekly trading outlook for this week, right? We'll basically take a look at the charts and then see what we have using our model, right? We're still trading the same thing. Okay, so for those that are joining for the first time, let's do a quick recap. If you want a more concise video, you can check our previous weekly outlook. Okay, so the first thing that we're looking for is a sweep of liquidity, right? And then a break of structure. And then we have structural liquidity, and then our second break of structure, right? So this is our sweep, inducement, and then we have you know, transactional liquidity, and then here becomes our structural liquidity. So these are transactional liquidity, right? So here is our first break of structure to the downside. Then this is our second break of structure, right? So we have this here, and then here becomes our POI. Okay. So, and then we also have the type B, something similar but slight difference. So we have our sweep, and then we have structural liquidity forms first before eventually breaking the full structure, right? Something like this. So we're expecting price to, take our structural liquidity and then, come into here as our POI, and then we have price go to the downside. So this is basically the type B, right? This is the B plus setup, and then this is the A plus setup. Right, this is the A plot setup. So we're waiting for the sweep of this somewhere around here. Stop loss few pips above and then target here. So if you are new to this, you can watch the previous videos on YouTube here so that you can have a very well detailed information about the strategy. So we already know the drill. We're waiting for this on the higher time frame. All right, and then we follow the trend down on the lower time frame. The higher time frame is 24 hours, the monthly time frame, weekly time frame, and all that, and sometimes the 4 hours, yeah. And then the lower time frame is the 30 minutes, 15 minutes. All right. So let's get to the chart. All right. For context, I gave this trade on Thursday before NFP news on Friday. Right. So we had a sweep here, and then we had our first break of structure here, right? And then we had structural liquidity and then second break of structure. So price took our structural liquidity, tapped our POI, and our entry was here. We're expecting price to, get here, but right now we are in a drawdown, right? But we're still supposed to hold, right? We're still supposed to hold to see what happens. Now for the top down analysis, this was the sweep, and then we had our 50% retracement here. Okay. And then, sorry, yeah, right. Yeah. So this was our POI on the 4 hour time frame. Right. So price tapped a little bit on it. And then price was going up to the upside. So what do? We join the trade and we follow up until price gets here. And then we have this POI, right? Which we're still looking out for to, go to the upside or to go to the downside. All right. That's why we use risk management, because not all trade works, but this strategy works about 98% win rate, right? I have all my trade journal since like June last year till date. So this strategy works perfectly well. And that was one of the reasons why I can hold trades without, fidgeting or anything. All right. So I have a trade on ETH/USD that I'm looking out for this week. All right. I just have about two setups for now. But during the week, if there are other setup, I'll be updating them on my Telegram channel. I will update them on my Telegram channel. So do join and anticipate, right? So let's go to the daily time frame. Let me remove this, right? So we have a sweep of liquidity here, which is a sweep of this higher low, right? And then we have structural liquidity forms first, which makes this the type B of our setup, right? And then we have our protected low here. Somebody said we are calling this thing protected low, so whether we put police for that. It's also funny. So we have this as our sweep, our structural liquidity, and then here becomes the full break of structure. And I told you guys that if you don't have a full break of structure, it means the setup is not valid. So you have to look out for a full break of structure. All right. So price tapped on it, and now we know our ending point, right? This is the daily time frame. So what do? We go to the lower time frame and then find the same structure like this. Okay. And then we have something here, right? Supposed to be seeing these things very clear now. So this is our sweep, right? And then we have our first break of structure here, right? And then we have structural liquidity, and then we have our second break of structure, which makes this our type A setup, right? If we go back and invert this, you can see that this is the same thing with this, right? The same thing with this. So we're expecting price to come here, and then we're buying this trade. So look out for this. Look out for this, right? Look out for this. Look out for this, right? It's about 1 reach to 3 or something, right? But for precise execution, I do use the 5 minutes time frame demand zone now to get my entry, and then you know the drill. We have to wait for a valid confirmation before we enter. I don't set limits, right? I wait for a valid confirmation before I enter. So if you want to enter at the same time with me, join my Telegram. Just type the name SAMMYESE on Telegram. There you see my Telegram channel, right? So we have this for this week. So look out for this. Remember, no confirmation, no entry. I don't set limit, right? So I have another trade on synthetic indices, volatility 25. All right, volatility 25. So let's see what we got together. Let's see what we got. So volatility 25 is on a sell trend, right? For synthetic indices, the monthly time frame is not on charts.derive.com. You have to use your MT5 to, get your monthly time frame, right? But from the monthly time frame, volatility 25 is selling my bias, right? And then somewhere around here is the take profit. So what do? We follow the trend. And I have a POI on the 1 hour time frame, right? Like I always say, these are just points of interest, right? It only takes a valid confirmation before I can enter any of these trades. So I advise you do same. But if you want to enter with me, you join my Telegram. It's very, very simple, right? So a sweep of liquidity, and then here becomes our protected eye. Then we have our first break of structure here. Then we have structural liquidity, and then we have a second break of structure. So you might see my charts with A, B, C. So A is after a sweep, right? And then B is my my structural liquidity, and then C is my target, which is my take profit. So I'm expecting price to come here. All right. But like I said, for precise execution, I use the 5-minute supply zone now to get my entry. So you can do same. And then you wait for a valid confirmation candlestick. So this is my second trade that I'm anticipating for this week. Right? I'm basically just waiting for these two trades. So if you see a valid confirmation, you can enter, right? And if you make money, remember to send me money. Just joking, guys. But remember to send me money. And I also have a tiny PUI here that I'm waiting for, but it's not an A plus setup. So I'm not really anticipating it like that. All right. So this is our sweep, right? And then so like I said, if there's no full break of structure, the setup is not valid. So I'm waiting for price to, break the structure to the downside. And then if there's a break of structure, this becomes my structural liquidity. And then this become my protected eye. But this setup is not too clean, right? I rather wait for this. But this is not valid, right? I don't recommend this. So just look out for the 1 on 1 hour time frame, right? The 1 hour time frame tends to hold better. So look out for this. Look out for this. Look out for this. Look out for this. So you can save this, and then when you see a valid confirmation, have your entry, and then you are good to go. Easy peasy, right? But apply risk management, and then I'll see you guys on my Telegram channel or probably next week. All right, so have this. And then I dropped a video on liquidity inducement, transactional liquidity, and structural liquidity on my YouTube shorts. So you can check it out as well. All right, so see you guys next week, and trade with caution, guys. Bye.